The definition of happiness is our subconscious perception of probability of survival. Let me say that again. Happiness equals our subconscious perception of probability of survival. I'm James Swanwick, joining you from the streets of London, England. It's a Saturday afternoon, 5:33. I'm walking... Which way am I walking? I'm walking west. Am I walking west? I'm walking west. I've just been in Notting Hill, which is the very famous borough of London, made famous by the 1999 film Notting Hill, starring Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant. And I'm walking back to Bloomsbury in central London. Saturday afternoon here. The sun is high in the sky, 5:33. The sun doesn't really go down until about 8:30 at night this time of year. So a friend of mine, let's call him Keith. His actual name is Keith, but I won't reveal his last name. He is writing a book about the definition of happiness, and he's been studying happiness, interviewing the world's greatest neuroscientists, happiness experts for some years, and he's putting this book together to detail what is happiness. And I asked him recently, what is the definition of happiness? Is there a formula? And he said, yes, there is. And I asked him what it was. He said it is your subconscious perception of probability of survival. So let's break that down. What my friend told me, and certainly what all of the evolutionary psychologists, happiness experts on the world tend to say, is that human beings are not designed to be happy. Human beings are designed to survive. And so all of the actions that we take is that of survival. Now, if you subscribe to that theory, that we're not born to be happy, that we're born to survive. Hypothetically, if we subscribe to that, we say, yep, okay, we're in alignment with that. Then it would make sense that anything that increases our probability of survival would generate happiness. Because by human nature, animalistic nature, we're designed to survive, and so anything we do that helps us survive will give us happiness. So what does this mean in relation to alcohol? This is the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Podcast. What does this mean in relation to you? Well, what it means is we can now dissect all of the actions that we take or don't take in life and put them into, this will create happiness in our life and this will create pain in our life. Another way of saying that is this will create happiness in our life and this may create pain in our life, or this may create happiness in our life. I don't want to speak in absolutes. But, so, if we break that down, the act of eating food, does that increase our probability of surviving? Yes, it does. What's generally regarded to be the happiest thing that a human being can do? Eating food. They've done studies that suggest that when a human being is eating food, he or she is the most happy. Why? According to this formula, well, it increases our likelihood of survival. Why do we love countrysides and fertile ground and tropical destinations, maybe like Bali, or when we think of an an ideal place to live, like a perfect situation, we think of a tropical island, right? Now, why is a tropical island so lovely and so agreeable in our mind? Well, because a tropical island suggests that there is plentiful food, there are waterfalls with natural water which we can drink, there's greenery, there's an ocean filled with fish that we can eat, which would increase our probability of survival. So why do we like the idea of living on a tropical island? Because it increases our perception of survival. Because there's food, coconuts, maybe there's animals that we can eat, there's waterfalls with natural water that we can drink, and there's plentiful fish in the ocean that surrounds the island. They've done studies. In fact, there was a book called Riveted. I've forgotten who the author is, but it was a book which suggests that the reason why human beings love landscape painting so much, landscape painting, think of a landscape painting which clearly has a horizon on it in each of those paintings. And the reason why we love seeing a horizon or a landscape or a vast view looking out, and we can see the horizon in the distance, is because, they argue, that unconsciously it creates the idea that we have plenty of time to avoid an attack from a rival tribe or a rival fleet, for example, so that the distance between the viewer and the horizon is so vast that creates a feeling of safety, because if an army came charging over the horizon, or if a pack of wild wolves came over the horizon, we would have time to flee or to prepare for battle. And so that creates safety. Hence why the argument goes that we find horizons beautiful. We find vast areas in front of us beautiful. We find landscape paintings beautiful because it increases the likelihood, or increases our perception of probability of survival. I'm now crossing over into, where am I? I'm on the corner of Edgware Road and Praed Street. It's quite noisy here, isn't it? I'll see if I can take a back street. I'm actually out the front now of Edgware Road Station. If anyone who's familiar with London, you'll know where I am now. Edgware Road Station. I'm continuing my walk. When I was in Notting Hill earlier today, I caught up with a friend of mine, a gentleman by the name of Fernando. I'm in a business mastermind, and I've been in this business mastermind for 10 years. And it's made up of men, and we support each other in our respective businesses. Obviously, I have the business of alcohol-free lifestyle. We support high-achieving business owners and executives, CEOs, presidents to stop drinking through our flagship 90-day stop drinking program, which is named Project 90. You've probably heard advertisements for it inside of this very podcast, heard me or seen me speak about it on Instagram or TikTok or on the YouTube channel, here on the podcast. And we caught up today. He and his wife Esther are in London. I'm in London, and Fernando and I met just off Portobello Road in Notting Hill today, and we had a 2-hour lunch, which was wonderful. And I was sitting there and thinking about it, why it was wonderful, why we were having such a good time. We were just talking about our businesses and our lives, personal lives, supporting each other. And the reason why it was wonderful is because the very act of eating with an ally or a friend increases our subconscious perception of probability of survival. So think about the two factors in play there. We're eating, which increases our perception of probability of survival, and we're with allies, which increases our perception of probability of survival. Because if the aliens come down from the universe today and they start firing their guns and shooting us and destroying us, we have a greater chance of surviving if we have allies, like friends or business partners or family members. And so the idea of, just letting these people who were quite noisy walking past me here. So the idea of having friends and allies makes us happy, because subconsciously it increases the likelihood that we'll be able to survive an alien attack, or any attack for that matter. And so in actual fact, the happiest that a human being is, in my view, is not necessarily when we're eating, but when we're eating with friends or family or allies. And I invite you just to think about that. Why do we love sitting down and having dinners at restaurants with friends and acquaintances? Well, it's not just because the food's so nice or the conversation is so nice. It's because subconsciously we're like, I've got friends, I'm in a network, I've got allies. So if something was to happen, I've got these allies here. It's quite noisy here in London. Can you hear the sirens going off in the background? I don't want to create an impression that London is a concrete jungle with so much noise going on. It just happens to be where I'm actually walking at this moment. If I was walking through Hyde Park, for example, you'd hear the beautiful sounds of the trees and the birds, I should say. So what else increases the likelihood of probability of survival? We've got food, we've got water, we've got fertile ground, which creates the illusion, not the illusion, but it gives us the sense that we can plant crops and we can herd cattle if we want, or we can have, a farm, and we've got things to eat. We've got water to drink. Wow, you can hear those. There's actually fire engines that are going off there that you can hear. With friends, you've got allies who will hopefully protect you as you are fending off the alien attack. Now, happiness. Happiness is very different to pleasure. There's a cognitive neuroscientist by the name of Dr. Tricia Lee, and she says pleasure gives us a dose of a good feeling that keeps us seeking more of it, while happiness is the feeling of being present and satisfied. Let me say that again. Pleasure gives us a dose of a good feeling that keeps us seeking more of it. Happiness is the feeling of being present and satisfied. That's according to cognitive neuroscientist Dr. Trish Lee. Now, both of them are positive emotions, but significant differences in the way that they affect our brains. So if we look at this through the topic of alcohol, when we are drinking alcohol, are we drinking alcohol for happiness, or are we drinking alcohol for pleasure? I submit to you, we're drinking alcohol for pleasure. Pleasure gives us a dose of a good feeling that keeps us seeking more of it. We drink the wine, we drink the beer, it gives us pleasure in the moment. Now, to be clear, it is temporary, illusionary pleasure. Temporary, illusionary pleasure. Gives us a good feeling, now we want more of it. Okay? Happiness is the feeling of being present and satisfied. Are we being present and are we being satisfied when we drink attractively packaged poison? I submit to you, we are not. The body knows it is a poison. The body knows it is a toxin. The body knows this because as soon as you digest the alcohol, rather, as soon as you consume the alcohol, what does the body do? It begins to get rid of it. It begins to get rid of it. The liver turns on. On goes the on button. Now the liver has to work to get rid of the toxins that you've just consumed. You're clocking in for the day. You're making your liver clock in for work. Think of a 9-to-5 job. Back in the day, you think of a factory, you'd go to work, you'd clock in, chick, yep, I got here at 8:59, 9 a.m. Then when you leave, chick, you click out, puts a stamp on when you left. It knows when you clocked in, when you clocked out. When you drink alcohol, the body is clocking in. You are clocking the body in for work. The body knows it's not supposed to be consuming it, which is why it clocks in for work to get rid of it. So drinking alcohol gives us pleasure, or it can give us pleasure, temporary illusionary pleasure. It gives us a dose of a good feeling, keeps us seeking more of it. Happiness is the feeling of being present and satisfied. We're not being present, we're not being satisfied when we consume alcohol. When are we being present? When are we being satisfied? When our subconscious perception of probability of survival is increased through health. That increases our probability of survival, good health. Drinking alcohol does not increase our probability of survival. It increases the likelihood of either earlier death, or it increases the likelihood of a whole series of potential health issues which could ultimately lead to death. James Swanwick here. Just a quick interruption to share some of the relationship breakthroughs that folks have been having inside of our Project 90 Stop Drinking process. Joe Worley from Michigan says, my wife has the real Joe back. Andrus from Minnesota says, I'm a better dad. Dave Kelly from Australia says, I feel so much more connected to friends, family, and colleagues. And Angela, also from Australia, says, I'm spending more time with my kids. So if improving your relationships is your motivation, or one of your motivations for stopping drinking, and you would like some professional outside support, I invite you to go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90, watch the video, read some of the words on the page, learn about our process, and if it feels like it could be for you, you're welcome to schedule a free 15-minute complimentary call with one of our coaches. All right, let's get back to the episode. Now, we're all going to die. That's an inescapable truth. Father Time remains undefeated, keeps on going. We're all headed for the same place. However, the quality of your life is very much dictated by the actions you take while you are alive. And if you are drinking alcohol consistently, even one seemingly innocent glass of wine per night, I submit you're drinking for pleasure, to get a temporary, illusionary good feeling that makes you seek more of it, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, until it becomes 2 drinks a night, 3 drinks a night, 4 drinks a night, 5 drinks a night. Then it's 0 drinks Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because you're only going to drink on weekends. And then on weekends, you drink 5, 6, 7, 8 drinks. Or you do it for a couple of weeks and then you go, oh, I'll just drink on, bring it forward to Thursday night. Instead of only drinking on weekends, I'll bring it forward to Thursday. I'm walking past a wedding here. Oh, look at these people. There's a bride and a groom coming out. I'll let you listen in. So I've got confetti all over me now. The bride and the groom looking lovely. but now I'm walking through confetti. That's nice. The bride looks lovely. She's got a nice, beautiful dress. Everyone's dressed well. The groom looks like a groom should look. He's wearing a suit and tie. Well done. Well played. All right. Anyway, I'm walking into Marylebone, pronounced Marylebone or Marylebone. Where was I? I lost my chain of thought because the bride and the groom were coming down the steps outside of the church, right on this main busy road here. Where was I? Alcohol. Okay. So the question I'd like you to ponder is alcohol creating a subconscious perception of probability of survival, or is it creating a subconscious perception of probability of compromising your survival? I submit it's the second, it's the latter. So why do we feel sad and depressed from drinking alcohol? Apart from the fact that the body has to go to work to break down the toxins, leaves us feeling tired and hungover, leaves us craving sugary foods and carbohydrates, it leaves us saying, or increases the likelihood that we say the wrong thing. Apart from all of those kind of things, it's also compromising our health, and our body knows this, so our subconscious is going, this is not increasing the likelihood of my survival here. And so we lose happiness. We create pleasure in the moment consuming it, but subconsciously we're not happy. Hence why so many of you listening now, and I only say you because I haven't drunk since 2010, feeling sad, upset, and shameful, triggered, and embarrassed, and hopeless. Because you're drinking, you're successful in many areas of your life. You're intelligent, you're educated, you're articulate. You should be able to stop drinking. You should be able to, but you can't. And that infuriates you, upsets you, compromises your confidence, your self-worth. I know all of this because we polled 400 of our clients between 2021 and this year, and we asked them, how did you feel about your drinking before you stopped, before you joined our program and took the action to stop? And these are the exact words that they use. This is the exact verbiage that they use. Shameful, embarrassed, regret, scared, worried. No worries. Someone just hit me as I was walking along here. I'm now walking along Baker Street in Marylebone. Baker Street's very famous for Sherlock Holmes, the fictional character by Arthur Doyle, I think was the author. He obviously wrote the fictional character of Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes resided at Baker Street, which is on this very block that I'm walking right now. There's actually a very famous Sherlock Holmes museum here on Baker Street. There's a big red London bus to the left of me that says number 13 with North Finchley on it. I'm looking at a Joe and the Juice and a Chipotle on the right-hand side here, opposite a Sainsbury's local. Sainsbury's is the local UK supermarket. Just trying to set the scene here. Hopefully this is interesting to those who've been to London before and know what I'm talking about, and hopefully it's interesting to those who've never been to London. Hopefully I'm painting a nice enough picture. There's so many people out and about here. It's now 5:55 p.m. on a Saturday, and there's just masses and masses and masses of people enjoying the summer evenings. So, drinking alcohol decreases our subconscious perception of probability of survival. I'll say it again. Drinking alcohol decreases our subconscious perception of probability of survival. Therefore, instead of having happiness, we have fear and worry and regret, sadness and depression. I'm going to use very poor grammar here. It ain't that good. Alcohol ain't that special that you should be drinking it, consuming it, choosing it. It is cultural conditioning that has brainwashed us into believing that this is something that we should be aspiring to consume, that we should be smiling when we drink it, that we need it to create bonds, that we need it to relieve stress, that we need it to have fun. Smiling assassins are everywhere. Smiling assassins are the smiling waiter and the waitress who say, "Can I get you a drink? Would you like a drink?" It's your friends who invite you to their home for a Saturday night dinner. And when you go in, they want to be great hosts and they smile. "Can I get you a wine? Can I get you a beer? What would you like?" It's when you're at the wedding, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, the weddings happen, ceremonies happen, and now you're at the reception and we're all sitting around looking very nice at the wedding. Wasn't that a marvellous ceremony? Yes, marvellous ceremony. The waiters and waitresses come around. "Can I get you a drink, sir? Red, white?" And then the toast's coming out. The speech is about to begin. What happens? The champagne comes out. Of course, you must pour champagne into a champagne glass because you have to toast the bride and groom with champagne. How can you not? It's a wedding. And people smile as they do this ridiculous custom. Let's all pour poison into a glass. We'll make it seem elegant and sophisticated. And we'll all smile and cheer and say hurrah as we toast the bride and groom with this attractively packaged poison. That's pleasure. As cognitive neuroscientist Dr. Trish Lee explained, pleasure gives us a dose of a good feeling that keeps us seeking more of it. So yeah, we have a good feeling in the moment, temporary and illusionary, but happiness is a feeling of being present and satisfied. And according to my friend Keith, at least, who's been studying this for many years, and his book will be published soon, happiness is the subconscious perception of probability of survival, and alcohol decreases that perception. But eating food with friends, with allies, having a roof over our head, being in an area where it seems like there's fertile ground, clean water, big spaces, allies, friends, increases the likelihood of our survival. Health, physical health, increases the likelihood of our survival and therefore increases our happiness. I hope you found this interesting. All right, I'm going to end this on the corner of Baker Street and York Street. I hope you enjoyed the soothing sounds of London. Very, very noisy, I have to say. Maybe the next one I'll do from Hyde Park, where it's a lot more tranquil. So thank you very much for listening. If you found this interesting, please do share it with someone. You can leave a comment, which would be really appreciated in Apple Podcasts. Leave a review if you enjoy this. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Hi there, this is James Swanwick. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I would be so grateful if you would leave a review. That will help us climb the rankings and get our show exposed to so many more people who could really benefit from the content. You can do that by going into Apple Podcasts, rating the show, writing a little one-sentence summary, and posting it. That would be so amazing. Thank you. Likewise, if you would like to schedule a 15-minute exploratory call and apply for our Project 90 program, then you can do so by going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. If you'd like to get the free guide, that is the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. Our YouTube channel is at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at James Swanwick. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one.